So what did you understand? What did you understand? Does it seem that let's take a look at the choices first. There are more insects than animals to conserve in the world. People are more interested in conserving animals than insects. The conservation of animals has been more successful than the conservation of insects. Now, if you take a look at the second one, when they are threatened, it's difficult for conservationists to stir up much public sympathy. Not so for the big, cute, and cuddly animals. Now, here's the thing. Many of you might say the conservation of animals has been more successful than the conservation of insects because of this. It is difficult for conservationists. But sadly, he said difficult, and then he explains why, which is what the entire sentence or the entire paragraph revolves around. The reason why it's difficult. So the thing is that, of course, the same reason, or it's also the topic of this paragraph also affects the method or the manner with which the writer is writing this paragraph. So first, I'm just going to say that the answer is B, and then tell you why. Take a look at this sentence. The vast majority are small crawling things with lots of legs. Small crawling things. My mouse is as stable as a Chernobyl. So, small crawling things with lots of legs. Okay? So, he's just talking, insects, small crawling things with centipedes, things like crawl on your arm and really disgusting. The same thing, say, people will go to enormous lengths to protect them, not so for the big, cute and cuddly animals, like orangutans. By the way, cuddly animals means things you can cuddle, okay? You can just cuddle and rub, okay? Things with fur, maybe a teddy bear, okay? Cuddly animals, like orangutans. So he is referring to the people's opinions by writing what they think about animals and insects in this paragraph. Okay? Insects are small and crawling and disgusting, and big animals are cuddly and lush. Okay? So this is the topic or the idea of this sentence. People are more interested in conserving animals than insects, and this is why it's difficult. They haven't even said that the conservation of animals is more or less successful. They haven't said anything about the success. They haven't said about failure. So C is also incorrect. Of course, there's nothing to do with it. Next. Can I just take a look? Okay. So, let's take a look at paragraph C now. This is a completely different topic. Our sense of humor is truly perplexing. Surveys show that we are 10 times more likely to be seen sharing a moment of laughter than any other form of strong emotion. Just a moment. Humor saturates our lives. Humor saturates our lives. Alright, so let's move on to the next section. This is paragraph C here, and it's of course, it refers to a very different topic. Our sense of humor is truly perplexing. Surveys show that we are 10 times more likely to be seen sharing a moment of laughter than any other form of strong emotion. Humor saturates our lives, yet only recently have brain scientists started to turn their scanners and electrodes to the task of examining the flash of amused insight that lies at the heart of understanding a joke. And the findings are not at all what you might think. Wow, this is an interesting topic. It's about laughter and what happens in the mind when you suddenly understand a joke, understand the punchline. Okay? The punchline, let me just write it down here. The punchline is the last sentence in a joke that is said quickly and has the entire joke. Okay? I'm sorry, I don't remember any jokes now, but if I could, I would have told you. But you have to deal with it. Anyway, a punchline is the last sentence of a joke. So let's see what the topic sentence here is. Our sense of humor is truly perplexing. Surveys show that we are 10 times more likely to be seen sharing a moment than any other form of strong emotion. Now, he is trying to explain or rephrase or expand on the idea of our sense of humor. So, the topic sentence is more or less this one. To an extent, our sense of humor is truly perplexing. What a unique thing our sense of humor is. Just a moment. So, this is our topic sentence. What about the main idea or the main topic here? Let's see if we can choose a main idea of these three choices. Which of the following best summarizes the main idea in paragraph C? Scientists have discovered some unexpected facts about humor. People do not always laugh at the same sort of jokes. Brain scans have failed to explain why people laugh. So, let's see if people do not always laugh at the same sort of jokes. Yet only recently no one or nothing was mentioned here about the different senses of humor. What about brain scans have failed? Yet only recently have brain scientists started to turn their scanners and electrodes to the task of examining the flash of amused insight. So be careful. When you say brain scans have failed, that's called present perfect, which refers to an action that happened before and is still ongoing. So far, no one knows why people laugh. Okay? This is, of course, please do not focus on the facts. Just focus on the matter that this is not included in the paragraph. Okay? This is not in the paragraph, so C is not the answer. Alright, let me just cross it here with a very nice drawn line. And people do not always laugh was not mentioned at all. People you will see that there is you will see that the very end line here and the findings are not at all what you might expect. Okay? So scientists have discovered some unexpected facts about humor. Unexpected facts are not what you might think. Alright? So this is the answer for C. Let's carry on now. Unfamiliar words will be a very common occurrence in your reading, especially in the last task. Alright? As you probably remember, our reading module consists of 5 texts if you are in the general exam, and 3 if you are in the academic module, in the academic exam. I'm just going to clear the board here so that we can just open a new board. Okay, so you will see that reading consists of 5 texts. 5 texts, okay, and the academic module will consist of 3 texts. Good. So in the general, you should expect the 4 texts to be short, but even more importantly, you should be able to solve them all within 10 minutes each. So first 4 10 minutes each. 10 minutes each. Alright? Then the 5th one is a very large, not a very large, it's a large text. Okay, it's a large piece of text that you will take 20 minutes to solve. Okay, and by solving, I'm saying reading and then solving the questions. So you will not have a lot of time for this, and you will also need to transfer your answers to an answer sheet, okay, before the time has passed. So 10 minutes for the first 4 questions, and then the 5th will take 20 minutes to be solved if you have studied very well. Now, let me just copy this 20-minute thing and tell you that every text in the academic module will take 20 minutes. Every text in the academic module will take 20 minutes. So in general, reading or writing, the test will take 60 minutes. 10 times 4, it's 40, and then 20, that's 60 minutes, and then 20 times 3, 60 minutes for the academic. That's the difficulty in the academic module, is that you will have to read 3 very long texts. But let's get back here to section 3. I'm just telling you that this is a part of what you may read in the last text, in the general test, or any of the 3 texts in the academic texts, in the academic test. I'm referring to unfamiliar words. Okay, things like guidebook, outdated, shelf life, backpacker, okay, and non-problematic. It seems that you know what non-problematic is. It comes from problem and no, so no problems, maybe. Backpacker, maybe it's a bag on your back. Okay, bag on your back. Shelf life, strange. Outdated, no. Right. So the key here is to understand your words, okay, through their context, through their position in the sentence and what the sentence around them, okay, says. So let's take a look here at the reading. One of the major problems with guidebooks is that they are outdated before they are even published, as it takes on average 2 years from commissioning to publication. And as the shelf life of most travel books is 2 years, there may be as many as 4 years between the original research and a tourist's visit. In extreme cases, this can have serious repercussions, as a young backpacker, Joel Edmond, discovered one autumn. A walk around a border lake described as a non-problematic by one travel guide in Asia resulted in him being arrested by soldiers and imprisoned for a month in China. The guide's author has since apologized to him. So as you see, the text has lots of unfamiliar words, but they should not be difficult because you should understand what they are based on their position in the sentence and so on. Let's see. Guidebook, here it is. So it's a book that guides, right? Book that guides, maybe. But here they also mentioned travel books. Here, travel books. So a guidebook may be a book that stands or that you use instead of a tour guide, perhaps. What about outdated? They are outdated before they are even published. Outdated means become obsolete, become useless, because they are becoming old. Let's say that you have met someone who is still using Windows 95. You will say to him that your operating system is outdated. Buy a new one or get a new one. Okay? Someone else who drives a car from the 1930s is driving an outdated car. Of course, a car from the 1930s is a classic, which is very pretty, but regardless, let's consider it outdated and just call it a day. So here, an outdated book is a book that has been rendered useless or is becoming useless because they're old. What about shelf life? As the shelf life of most travel books is 2 years, there may be as many as 4 years between the original research and a tourist's visit. So, when you make a travel guide, you take about 2 years. 1, 2. All right, to make your research and then publish the book. Then there is 2 other years until the book, or until 2 years during which the book stays on the shelves. Shelf life is the time during which a book can stay on the shelf. Of course, it can be referred to any other product, to be honest. The shelf life of a milk carton is 1 month, maybe. Okay, so you can place the milk carton on the shelf for only 1 month before having to remove it because it became old. The shelf life of maybe a tuna can, okay, a can of tuna, okay, can be as much or as long as 5 years because it's preserved and all that. So a shelf life is the amount of time a product can be on a shelf. What about backpacker? Backpacker is someone who backpacks, okay? It's very easy. Here it is, young backpacker, Joel Edmonds. And non-problematic, you probably already know it. Let's carry on. Let's read the paragraph again and choose the correct heading. Heading from the options we have. How a tour guide lost his way, why tourist guidebooks may be unreliable, and difficulties faced by travelers in Asia. As you can see, a tour guide losing his way is written at the very end. No problematic and resulting in him being arrested by soldiers. Okay, this is absolutely incorrect. Why? Because it's an example. An example of something else. It is not the main topic. We're not talking about, oh my God, this man got arrested and then he went to the prison for 1 month and he was being fed like cat food and all that. No, it's just talking about this incident, this arrest, because they are referring to something else. What about difficulties faced by travelers in Asia? Same point, same point. It's also a general point faced. They are talking about the difficulties. They are talking about how a tour guide as well is, by the way, a tour guide is not a young backpacker. That's another reason. So this is absolutely wrong. Okay? 100% غلط. So the correct. Let's take a look at difficulties faced by travelers in Asia. If that was the main topic, he would have given more examples. So travelers in Asia might be arrested, maybe there is bad weather, maybe there is something maybe the prices are high, maybe. Okay, so this paragraph does not refer to the difficulties, but the main topic is why guidebooks may be unreliable, because he explained they are outdated before they're even published, and then he explained that it may be as many as 4 years between the original research and a tourist's visit. As you can see, he is numbering so many ways in which a guidebook can be obsolete. Obsolete means outdated. I'm just going to write it in another page here. Let's take a look here. Outdated is obsolete. Please do not confuse obsolete with absolute. Okay? Obsolete means old, old-fashioned, or outdated. Okay? But absolute means in Arabic mutlaq. Mutlaq. It means that, let's say, this car is absolutely amazing. It's not relatively amazing, okay? It's not better than other cars, all right? It is the best. It doesn't matter what the other cars do. It is the best, absolutely the best. Absolute, obsolete. Let's go on. Now, here is the final Here is the final slide of our lesson today. We will talk a bit about vocabulary and how we can understand how the words or what the words are from their context. So before we solve this paragraph here, or these questions here, let's just take a look at these words. Hopefully I'll just need to clear just these lines here from the here. Okay, then this one. All right, so let's just carry on to the final slide of our lesson today, and let's take a look at the words. Adjust. Adjust is what's the meaning of adjust? Let's take a look at paragraph A. Adjust. Paragraph A. Al-jet lag if only he could adjust his body clock. Adjust a clock. So of course it means changing or maybe adapting his clock. So adapting his clock. So just changing something. So that's adjust. What about the next one? Species. Species is in paragraph B. Here we are. So B, species, animal species, a type of animal. Okay? It's not a species is a type, means type. Alright? What about the next one? Conservationists. This is a bit of a difficult word. A conservationist is someone who, here, conservationists, to stir up much public empathy. When they are threatened, it's difficult for conservationists. It may be someone who is trying to protect the animals. Okay, so when the animals are threatened, it becomes more and more difficult for them to protect the animals. Them. Perplexing, C. Let's move on. Our sense of humor is truly perplexing. I'm not referring to crazy, I'm referring to confusing. Confusing. Let's take a look here next. Findings. Findings. Here. And the findings are not at all what you expect. So maybe results. Go to enormous lengths. It's in B. So go to enormous lengths. People will go to enormous lengths. Means I will do anything. Okay. If you remember from the hackers or the people who make the virus software, they are going to enormous lengths to infect your computer. So go to enormous lengths means they are very persistent, or will do anything. Lies at the heart of, okay? So here's my heart, here's the center of my body. Of course, I'm just pointing at my left here, it's right, so left, okay? So here's my right, which is left to you. The heart is at the center of the body, which is the most important thing to think about. So here, I think it's section. Lies at the heart of. We are 10 times more likely to change in the saturated of lies and sites. Yep. The heart of lies at the heart of. Strange that it's not written. Okay, but let's just carry on. The vast majority is, let's say that maybe the majority of, if we're talking maybe about the majority of France, okay, are French people. And then we have a minority of immigrants. So we have two types of people in France, okay? We have, of course, the French. I think those people who have light skin and maybe blonde and so on. And then immigrants, people who come from other countries, and Indian or just Saudi Arabian, all right? So the majority are French, so the largest percentage. And the minority, all right, is the smaller one, the small percentage. Of course, if you remember the movie Minority Report, yes, it's this. It's when just one of the three time tellers can foresee the crime and all that. I don't remember the movie. So minority and majority. Let's get back here. So the vast majority of something here, it's topic B. So the vast majority are small crawling things with lots of legs. So if we have the animal kingdom, a very small fraction is the normal animals and the large one is the insects. Finally, we have serious repercussions. Okay, it's in the last text, D, serious repercussions here, which means big results, or not big results as in a good thing, or it says devastating results. Something bad could happen, really bad. So with this in mind, let's try and solve these questions. First, the of people in the world are right-handed. So we have a large fraction of people right-handed. Okay, so the answer here is majority. What about the next one? The desire to attract young customers, most fashion advertising. It seems like a missing sentence. It's not missing a word, it's missing a big phrase. So it can be go to enormous lengths or lies at the heart. So the answer is lies at the heart. Alright? So the most important thing when you are advertising clothes is to market them for young people, not older people that have old-fashioned styles. As we get older, it becomes harder to new work practices. It's a bit different. New work practices, so you need to change yourself, renew yourself, okay, and adapt or adjust. I'm just going to write adapt here. All right. Sorry, adapt, which means adjust, adapt. Let me just cross out the words here. So majority, okay, by the way, it's vast majority, but no problems, lies at the heart of, here we go, adjust or adapt, paragraph A, here we are. And let me just adjust this vast majority. So the vast majority of people in the world are right-handed. By the way, I'm left-handed. Anyway, 4. Something believe that we are not doing enough to protect rare things from extinction. Okay, it's clear. It's very clear. Rare animals, okay, or species. And whoever believes it needs to protect the animals, conservationists. Alright, let me just make this text a bit smaller. Here we are. So the conservationists believe that we're not doing enough to protect the species of our planet from extinction. Good? What about the next one? My father had to get a copy of his mother's birth certificate in order to prove his nationality. So he had to do lots of things. Okay? A very large sentence. He had to do a phrase. Lots of things. Go to enormous lengths. Just going to go to enormous lengths is the answer. What about 6? The researchers found it something that their results showed the opposite of what they expected to find. So let's say that you are maybe putting some water on fire, or not on fire, on the cooker. Okay, you are trying to boil some water, and then you go out and return, and you find ice. You are confused. You are perplexed. Wow, this is strange. Perplexed. Of course, the scientists are perplexed, but this is perplexing. I'm pretty sure P-E-R-P-L-E-X. It looks strange, maybe because of this small r. Anyway, so perplexing is the answer for question 6. Let me just cross out the words again. So we crossed out species, conservationists, perplexing, and go to enormous lengths. The last two are findings and serious repercussions, and here they are. Recent show the burning of fossil fuels has affected the health of the planet. Climate change, they're referring to climate change. So recent findings is the correct one. And finally, the government's policy on university education has had serious repercussions for families of low income. Serious. For families on low income. So as you probably would understand, once the government says, okay, the universities are not free, almost every family that doesn't have money will say, okay, we will not be able to educate our children. So serious repercussions, very devastating or significant results. So this concludes our time for today. I hope we've learned a lot of things from my lessons so far in the listening module. Okay, and with my strategies, you will find that solving the listening module will not be as serious or scary as before. The most important thing while solving listening is to understand what they want of you. In the first section, they want specific details of you. The same thing goes in the second section, but to a lesser extent. You read the question and understand it, and then you read and understand, or you listen to the man and understand him. Okay? The third section is a conversation about a specific topic, and for that you need to understand the speakers very well, and then solve the questions based on what you understand, right? Not based on literal words. They will almost always say the literal words in the wrong place. What about the fourth section? It's the most difficult one, and to solve it, steal some time from the first section and then read the first few questions of section 4. When the lady in the recording says, you will see that there is an example that is done, okay? And the lady says, you will see that there is an example that has been done for you. You switch back to section 1 and read the questions you need. Alright, so here we are. And then we moved on to the reading section, and we understood what paragraphs are formed of. The introduction, then we have several paragraphs, we have the topic sentence, the example or explanation, and a small conclusion for every paragraph. Then we have seen some examples here, and not this slide, but the previous ones, and we learned some new words and how to guess them based on their context. This has been me, Joseph Neal, and this was the third session of the IELTS preparatory course. Thank you very much for following, and I'll meet you in session 4, inshallah. Thank you very much.